Hey, I'm live, I think. And welcome to the Indigo Room. Good rising. So today's topic, as you can see, because I didn't have one, is, I'm so angry. I'm so angry. And some people love taking me to a lower vibe. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So good rising. Hey, Linda. How you doing? Good rising, Linda. I might be in a little, I might be a little Wicky Wacky today. So I got my sage because, I'm feeling in a way. Amira, good rising. Hello. Please hit the like button when you come into the room. That's a thumbs up. Mm-hmm. Good rising, Barb. Good rising, good rising, good rising. Yeah, so we're talking about me being angry. I'm so angry. I'm angry today. Yep. I'm feeling it. So I figured, let me come over here and talk to y'all about that. Hey, Linda. I know I said hi to you before. This is why I need sage because I'm annoyed. Yeah, we're going to talk about that today. That's what we're talking about. Being angry, being emotional, and being. I can't cuss. Okay, let me. Rusa. Bringing it down a notch. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to bring it down. And if you want to call in, you want to talk about it, you want to chat about it, you could do that. And the number is 201-855-9898. Good rising. Good rising, Miss Nia, Mrs. Nia, my cousin. Ooh. Boy, we got a lot of folks coming up in here today. Everybody wants to see what I'm so angry about, huh? Yeah, like, spiritual people don't get angry. Like, if you're doing all this spiritual work, right? You can't get angry. You can't get upset. You can't get in your feelings. You can't be emotional. Mm-hmm. You're not allowed to be angry. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you would like to call in, Linda, you can put the number in the chat. Thank you, Linda. 201-855-9898. Have you guys ever got so freaking angry and so pissed off at a person and you just blame them for whatever it was that was ticking you off? Mm-hmm. Because, as a bull, Taurus, because that's me, I'm a Taurus the bull, I have a really, really high level of tolerance for BS. I have a high tolerance for that. I'm slow to anger. And then when I do get angry, you better watch out. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be nice. It's not going to be lovely. It's like a bull in a china shop. I see red. That's it. I'm coming for your neck. So I'm going to just, light this and let me light it a little bit more because I really need it today. I already told Linda what I was pissed off about, what I was upset about. That's right. We go nuts when we get mad. But it takes us a long time to get there. A long, long time. And then when we do, everybody's like, well, why are you so upset? What's going on? Why are you so angry? Yo, it took me a long time to get to be angry. So come on into the chat. We're going to talk about being angry and what you do and how you get through your emotions. Yeah, when I get there, it is not a good thing. And sometimes people will take your kindness and your emotional calm for weakness. And they come at you in a certain way. They come at you, pick, 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 come at you, pick, 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 and then you lose it, right? So I wanted to talk about that today because being angry is not a bad thing. It just isn't. It's part of your emotions. Part of your emotions. And what do you do when you get there? How do you move through your emotions when you're feeling angry and when somebody has ticked you the hell off? Because you gave them all kinds of room, all kinds of love, all kinds of, love and light. You gave it to them, you blessed them, and they still come for your neck. What do you do when that happens? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Because we all have the emotion of anger. We're all layered beings and we have all kinds of emotions. And if you want to call in today and talk about that, it's 201-855-9898. And we're going to talk about how to move through emotions and what to do when someone has ticked you off beyond all ticked offness. I cry, I yell, etc. That's what Amira said. Okay. How long do you cry and yell? And does that help you feel better? Because if it does, that's a good thing. So one of the things you want to do, Miss Nia said yes. One of the things you want to do is look at your emotions, right? Look at what it is that is ticking you off so bad that this person has done that you, Nia said, I get very serious and I say what's on my mind and I try not to go overboard because I have more wisdom that I'm older now, but you definitely will hear exactly what I have to say. All right, cousin. Amira says, cry in private, not long, yell, then I'm very quiet. Okay, so you cry. Well, Nia says she gets it out. She gets very serious and says what's on her mind. She tries not to go overboard. And Amira says she cries in private, not long. She yells, and then I'm very quiet. Okay. Anybody else want to share what they do? Because I'm learning too. Maybe you could help me to help myself not be so ticked off. Now here's the thing. Amira said, I don't seem to say what's on my mind. I hold it in. Okay. That's interesting. Bob says, I try not to slam things anymore. I have broke things and hurt myself by pounding on the table, etc. I do not throw things, but I will throw fists. Linda said, I yell very loud and cuss a lot, say my piece, and then go someplace quiet. Okay. Barb said, I do that too. Amira, stuffed feelings. Yep. I don't throw fists often. I used to when I was younger. What? You look at me wrong. I'm coming for your neck. Right? What you looking at? Why are you staring at me? Especially as being a New Yorker. I'm coming for you. But it takes me a long time, usually. It used to take me, well, it still does, but it takes me a long time to get there. But once I get there, it's all bets are off. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. And what is about to happen is not going to be pretty. That's how I used to be. right? Now, here's the thing about this title. I'm really not that angry. I'm not angry today. Not at all. I'm actually pretty cool. I'm pretty calm. I'm pretty collected. But the title is what got people to pay attention. Oh my goodness. Hi, Moon Vibes. Nia says, I'm a New Yorker that was raised more in the South, so I have Southern charm, but I know how New York is down. Yes, because we don't play. We'll come for you. Moon Vibe says, I'm here for this. Spirit said, get up and get in the room. I try my best not to get upset, but when I do, I'm a snap and it gets ugly. Moon Vibes, you and I are of the same ilk. Because when I snap, all bets are off. I try not to snap. I do my best not to snap. But when I do snap, I'm coming for that neck. I'm coming for you. I don't care. It is on and popping. So I want to talk about today how to move through some of those emotions and what they're trying to tell you, because being angry is not a bad thing. We all look at it like, some of us stuff our anger, which is not good. Bob says, I usually am angry alone, and when I am with someone and lose it, I cry, yell, but not loudly and not too much. I've evolved. Yes. I'm gonna say this one thing. Let me just say this. If I start to cry, if you see me so angry that I start to cry, that is when you need to move. That's the indication that everything is about to blow up if I start to cry. And that happened to me one time very recently at my job. Well, I say recently, but it was like 3 years ago. And a middle management person came at me in a way and was blaming me for something that she did. And I didn't understand what the hell she was talking about, to be truthful. I was like, what did I do? What did I do? I followed another middle management person. Because here I am, like, we have all these managers, right? So here I am, sort of not, I don't even know if you want to call me middle management, but I did everything middle management did. I just didn't have the title, right? So she comes at me, and the next day after something had transpired from another middle management person who gave me instructions on what to do, here she comes the next morning, stomping into my office like Godzilla. Boom, boom, Sydney. Yes. What did you do this? And how could you do this? And who told you to do this? And I was like, hold your horses, sis. Hold on. Now, see, if you can't let me speak, and this is where I went from 0 to 100, because she and I really didn't get along that great. But, I moved through. I'm a spiritual person. I'm peaceful, all love and light. And she came at me in my office in front of my colleagues and went off. And the thing that ticked me off was that everybody knew what was happening and nobody said anything. And the big boss, whose office was right next door to mine, heard it all and just let her rip me. I said, okay, all right. Every time I tried to talk, I couldn't even explain what the hell happened. She's just going off. She don't even know really what the situation was. She's just going off because it made her look bad, whatever had transpired. And whew, a tear started to drop down my side of my face. Another one started to drop down the side of my face. And I said, you know what? I'm about to kill this chick. I didn't call her a chick. I called her a bee. I said, I'm about to kill her right now. I could feel it all up in my spirit. I'm about to kill her. I stood up. I said, hold up. You're not going to talk to me like that. Number one. All right. I'm not your child, number two. I'm a grown woman just like you. And you can't roll up in here stomping and selling wolf tickets to me. And then people, when I rose up, people started going, well, okay, I think Sydney might kill her. I said, I have to go outside. I'm going outside right now. She saw it and she was like, oh, well, you know what? It really isn't that bad, Sydney. It really, you know what? You should go outside and take a walk. Why don't you go take a walk? All of a sudden, everybody was like, what? Wait a minute. This chick is about to lose it. She's about to go ham. And I was. I got up, put my coat on, put my jacket on. It was around this time of year too. And I walked out the building and just walked. Because I really was gonna lose my job over fighting somebody. So when I get a tear that drops down, it's on. It's not gonna be nice. So those are some. That's Ms. Nia said is necessary to get it out. Wow, that was a trying moment. That was wrong. Now that's me, cousin, straight up. Amira said that was wrong. Yep, that's what happens. However, okay, just because you're spiritual doesn't mean that you don't get angry. And your emotions are there for a reason. And they are teaching you lessons. They're teaching you how to move through your emotions and how to let go of your emotions and what you can do. We're going to talk about some things that you can do when you get to that point. You know, you can go from 0 to 100. I don't know. Some people can go from 0 to 100 very quickly. Some of us, it takes us time to get there. Some of us stuff our emotions. Some of us let it out right away. And then, everything's all wonderful. And people, all this stuff is left in the wake of you being angry, all the dead bodies, all the chaos and confusion, and you want to go have an ice cream. And everybody else is suffering from your wrath. So how do you get to move through that without, number one, causing wreckage and harm, and number two, without hurting yourself by stuffing your emotions? So there's a balance that you can do and experience so that you don't cause wreckage and so that you don't also stuff it inside of yourself, because stuffing is not good. Had this happened, had that experience happened to me years ago, I would probably be talking to you, telling you later how I got arrested. How I got arrested for knocking a chick out. But thank goodness it happened at a level where I was conscious of what was going on, and I stopped myself and took myself outside and then came home. And the thing of it is that I talked about it for a long time too. And when you talk about things for a long time to other people, on and on and on, in that emotional state, what you're doing is transferring your anger to everybody else, especially if they can't help you, because that kind of emotion, all emotions, are contagious. So you know that when you are experiencing anger, when you're experiencing any kind of wicky wacky emotion, and you spew your crap to other people, they get emotional too, right? Has that ever happened to you when somebody's saying, talking to you about stuff, and then you get angry right along with them? You don't even know what you're angry about. It wasn't your situation. Jail. Yes, I would have been in jail. Definitely would have been in jail. So we want to address the anger that's within you. Cleopatra likes to do that to me too. She likes to give me wicky wacky. Hold on a minute, I gotta fix her blanket because she can't fix it herself. Supposedly. But when I'm not here, she can fix her blanket. No problem. Hold on. Go ahead. Go. down. Relax. Okay, I'm back. So, what I wanted to discuss with you all today is some of the things that I use to help myself when I'm in those states, and some of the things that you do. Maybe you do something that is helpful, that another person will find helpful, and you want to share it. That's great. So, how do you move through it? That's number one. And why are you doing that? Why are you why are you making your blanket so crazy? Okay, lay down. All right. So how do you move through the anger? And we want to talk about how to send love to your feelings and your emotions, and why it's okay to feel that way. I know that, like being a YouTuber on YouTube, I'm going to say this, being a YouTuber on YouTube, I watch a lot of videos. I'm in here a lot. I do a lot of work and research. And one of the things that I find most prevalent is the beef that's going on in here. Somebody says something to somebody, and then somebody says something to somebody else, and the next thing you know, everybody's angry. We don't even know. We don't even know why we're angry, but the person that's doing the video is angry. And so everybody that's following it finds all kinds of reasons to be angry too. Amira says, I now take my coloring books to work to keep me calm on my breaks, stressful workplace. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. I used to do that too. Then my workload got so heavy that I couldn't even color. I couldn't even color on my breaks. I had to color in my mind. A lot of times we blame others for being angry. Like, if you look at the title, it says, some people love taking me to a lower vibe. I can't get to a lower vibe. Like, I can't allow people to take me to a lower vibration without my permission. So it actually starts with me. It actually lies inside of me. I'm the one that, even though it looks like, it's them outside making me angry, they very well may be, but I'm in agreement with them, and I'm going to go to a lower vibration with them, and I'm going to blame them. Blaming somebody else for you being angry is never, ever, ever helpful. You can look at a situation and you can see what somebody's doing, but ultimately, the solution's going to reside in you. Linda said, I always disagreed with spiritual gurus who always promoted not being angry, upset, etc. I saw so many women from ashrams in the San Francisco Bay Area who were belittled if they were not calm, no matter how much negativity was focused on them. They needed to get angry and not put up with the crap. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what that emotion is telling you is there's something wrong, right? Now, it may be something wrong with that person. Fine. We know that. There's a lot of people out here that can tick us off. However, the best way to figure out, move through your own emotions. I'm not saying you're going to change them, because you're not. You're not going to change them. But the best thing to do is move through those emotions and see what's inside of you that is allowing, not allowing, I don't even want to say allowing them to do something to you, but helping figure out how you can move through that anger. And what is it that they did that's got you so wound up? And I'm going to tell you, when I finally had to look at what was happening with this person in middle management, right, by rights, I'm just saying, she really is not a very nice person. Well, she wasn't. It was just weird. She'd be nice to you one day, and then the next day she's cussing you out. So it was always, you could never know You could never know what you were gonna, how you were going to experience this person. However, there was something in myself that allowed me to have this kind of relationship with her, if that makes sense. I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm just talking about me and her. You know, how she responds and deals with everybody else is different than how I experienced her. And when I looked inside of myself after, moving through the anger, because I was an angry chick, yo. After moving through it, I was able to figure out what inside of me attracted this kind of relationship with this person. Don't get me wrong, my relationship with her really pretty much stayed the same for the most part. But then it got to a point where I was doing my thing, she was doing her thing. I said good morning to you. I really didn't, engaged with her. I would send her love and light, as often as I could think about it. But I just kind of kept my distance and allowed her to be who she wanted to be. That's the thing that I had to get. I was trying to change her behavior. It's not my job to change her behavior. I had to change myself so that her behavior didn't affect me. Does that make sense? So I, after a while, and I told you, Linda, remember I told you what was happening when the thing happened. When that experience happened a few years ago, I think I told you, but anyway, once I got to the point where I was, I did my own work on the inside. Yeah, I kept my distance. It was because, I have to work there. She got to work there. I just kept my distance. It was cool, See you in the morning, pass by your office. How you doing? And I was able to have a better experience at work once I adjusted how I was going to respond to her. And that's the difficulty sometimes, because sometimes we're reacting to things that we don't even know what sets the trigger, right? So once I looked at the trigger was, for me anyway, number one, I was surprised that I was in that position because on the level that I was, it wasn't a lot of people of color. That was number one. So I had this little thing in myself that I really wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to be where I was. And that affected my response to a lot of things, because I used to feel literally like unworthy or undeserving, if that makes sense. Or out of place, if that makes sense too. So I had to look, right, finding what the trigger was in me. And once I found the trigger was what that trigger was in me, I was able to send that emotion, send that feeling love, because I still get angry. I get angry at a lot of different things for a lot of different reasons. But that one particular thing, I was able to find out what the trigger was and understand that, yeah, I am worthy. I should be here. Why was I feeling that way? And that, I already had that feeling, but that's what that feeling, if she didn't do what she did, and if I didn't get angry at what she did, I would have never known that I had that feeling of unworthiness. Does that make sense? So had she never, I had to thank her in my mind, because I'm not thanking her out in the real world. I'm not going up to you and saying, thank you for yelling at me for doing something that I, saying I did something that I didn't do. Not going to do that to you. But what I did do was thank her higher self for coming at me the way she did. Thank my higher self for showing me my trigger. And I sent love to both of us. Sent love to me, sent love to her. And my experience with her shifted and changed. Not a whole great deal, but enough that I was able to move in my experience at my job and have a better experience, irregardless of what she was being, saying, doing, and how she was rolling. So I wanted to just talk to you all about that because triggers are really key in figuring out what's going on with us emotionally. Moon Vibes, are you still here? Because you said Spirit told you to get up in here this morning. So if we can figure out what the trigger is, and some of the things that I do, what I do is write down Moon Vibes. Okay, you still here? What I do is I ask myself questions, and just like when we did the whole fear experience, it's pretty much the same. When I talked about fear and feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and I don't like that particular term that particular statement, because sometimes when you're in the middle of Wicky Wacky and you got a Wicky Wacky emotion and you jump out and do something anyway, it doesn't always come out the way you would hope. But I wrote down some questions that I use that help me to identify the anger. So one of the things was, why am I reacting this way? Because reacting, if you think about the word itself, you're reacting a way that you've acted before. So what is it? Moonbob says, you scared me because I started wondering on my phone. I was like, oh snap, I'm in trouble. Let me pay attention. Oh my God, Moonbob, that is so funny. Well, Spirit told you to come here, so I had to. Spirit said, go get Moon Vibes. You see Moon Vibes is wandering on the phone? Oh my God. Oh God, that's so funny. Moon Vibes, thank you. I needed that laugh, y'all. Woo! Lord have us mercies. So, one of the oh my God. Okay. That just tickled me so. One of the questions that I ask myself is, oh Lord have his mercies, why am I reacting this way? And why am I reacting this way to Moon Vibes, thing? Because that issue's funny right there. Why am I reacting this way? So why am I reacting? And when you react, you're acting in a way that you've acted in the past. That's what reactions are. They're actions that you've done in the past before that you're doing again. So if you've been angry in the past 100,000 times, or upset or hurt or whatever, there's a reason why you're reacting this way right now in the present. So if you look at some of your past actions or reactions, you'll be able to find out what the trigger is and where you've acted this way in your past experience out of anger. Like somebody said something to you in a certain way, or somebody looked at you in a certain way. Just it might not even be something that you normally do. Like being a New Yorker, if you stare at somebody too long on a New York train, on a New York subway, you're minding your business, you're sitting there reading your book or whatever, and you look up and somebody's staring at you. This is a New York thing, okay? And it has to do with the area that we live in. Like, why are you looking at me? What are you staring at? Why are you in my mouth? What are you writing a book? What, you want to jump in my face? Like, why are you in my grill? All of that. I don't know about any other place, but I know that it's very, very, very key here. And it doesn't matter who you are. You could be an old white lady, an old black lady. You could be an old man. You could be Hispanic. You could be Indian. You can be Nigerian. It doesn't matter. And what happens is, I think it is something that just gets learned. It's not something that, is a normal thing. And instead of going and smiling at a person, you go to the normal, you go to the old reaction. And the reaction was learned. That's learned. It's a learned behavior. Because even when you come from another country and you live here, everybody seems to do the same daggone thing. Or say the same thing. Or they give you a look like, if you're staring like more than 30 seconds, it could be a problem. And that is a learned response. It is a learned behavior. So when you find, I had to learn how to change that for myself. And when I look up from a book or I turn around and I see somebody staring at me for too long, I smile now. And that always sends people off into then they go like this. Okay, they turn away from me. They don't even look at me. They start looking at their paper or whatever it is they're looking at. I just give them a smile now. Just smile. Well, you must think I'm beautiful. That's why you're staring. But I had to change my own reaction to people staring at me on the subway. Now, once I started to do that, the reaction from the other person actually changed too. So it's no longer a trigger for me. Unless, I'm still working on this one, unless I'm talking to a friend on the subway and you are, in my conversation and you're staring in my lips while I'm talking, then I may have a little bit of an attitude. So I'm still working on that one. That's a trigger for me. Usually what I say is are you finding the conversation interesting? Is there something that you wanted to add? And then people go, no, I didn't want to get in your conversation. I'm sorry. Nia said, how do you deal with lower level spirits? They would attack me and I would react for so many years. Then she apologized 19 years later, but I'm not fully over the treatments they dished to me. So in something of that nature, which has been 19 years on, I think I told you that one of the closest people I know happened to be a narcissist. But I just learned that very recently because they're undercover. And so sometimes you have you have energies that are like vampires and they will, suck off you. And because they're not reaching within and they're not going within to their higher self, they're using you to get energy. So with that type of person, with that type of response, there was I would have now been doing the work way before I got an apology from her. Because once I realized that I may never get an apology, then there's some work that I'm going to have to do so that I feel better, period, point blank. Because it's always about me trying to feel better. I'm not going to lie. It's always about me trying to feel better, because if I feel better, then the energy that I'm sending out, that I'm emanating, is going to affect other people and it's going to help other people. So that would, just now in doing that and saying that, sometimes you may never get an apology from a person. That may never happen. But the anger or the feelings that you have, you want to check those. So now that it's happened and you received an apology, but you still feel angry. Okay, so what you want to do is start to look within and figure out, why am I reacting this way? Why? Why am I still reacting this way? Maybe the apology wasn't a great apology. Maybe you didn't feel like it was the apology warranted the grievance and what she did. That may be something you want to look at. So when you look at what the trigger was, and you figure out what the trigger was, or why you are reacting this way, then write it down and look at it. Allow yourself, number one, allow yourself to feel the feeling. Don't just gloss over it, because a lot of times we all stuff feelings, depending on the situation. It could be something else. It could be, something totally different. It has nothing to do with this particular incident. But there's a reason why you felt the way you felt when she did what she did or said what she said. And now there's a reason why you feel what you feel even after the apology, is because now you may want to clean up some of that energy that you've got in your physical body. And where are you feeling that feeling? Look at where you're feeling that emotion. But get quiet about it. Don't just gloss over it. I wouldn't just gloss over it and say, well, you know what? You're right. So she gave me the apology, whatever. I had something happen to me recently, and the person gave me an apology that really was kind of like a whack apology, to be truthful. It wasn't an apology at all to me. It was whack. It didn't even make sense. And I had to just look at it and go, okay. Why am I reacting to this? Or how am I reacting to this? And I was reacting to it in the way because the apology didn't come to me the way I would have given somebody the apology. I would not have done that. I would not have apologized that way. And then this morning I was thinking, this just recently happened this weekend. And then this morning I was thinking, I was like, well, you know what? That's the best she could do. That is the best that she could do. And I love her anyway. And I sent her love and light anyway. And I send love to the situation. And I'm going to move forward. Now, she may carry whatever she's carrying around with. I don't know. But that is the best that she, being who she is, that is the best that she can do. And I'm accepting that. Moon Vibe said, I just stare at them until they stop staring. I'll be like, yep, you don't like it, so stop doing it to me. But first I figure out if you are staring by looking once, turning away for a little, and repeat. Oh, so Moon Vibes, you're on the subway too. See, I knew there was a reason why I had to call you. I was calling you out. I'm just kidding. Until the final stare off. Yes, you can have a stare showdown on the subway, honey. That is never fun. Miss Nia said she was upset with me because me and her son had a child very young, and she blamed me for having a baby, and her son turned out to be the worst person on the planet. Now they see that all these years. Oh. Well, you know what? People grow and people learn stuff that they didn't learn. It's difficult sometimes, especially when it's your own kid, to remove yourself from them and not blame the other person, And if you could as an empath, show her a little empathy in your spirit, I'm saying. You don't have to deal with her, but this will help you. in your spirit, allow her some empathy and some compassion, because you were young and she was young, maybe a young mom too. And yeah, she blamed you. Like, my mother-in-law didn't like me for a long time, because she didn't think I was the best thing for her son. And she might have been right, because we weren't together. He wound up finding somebody else later and got remarried, and they had a great relationship. We just weren't, compatible with each other. But she wasn't always nice to me. But that is based on me not even having an own great relationship with my own mom. So, some of that had to do with me as well. I could look back 2020, hindsight is 2020 vision, and look back and see where, well, I was young and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, being whatever. And she treated me accordingly. She treated me according to my own vibration at the time. But I had no idea about, my own vibration and understanding all of that. So now she's gone. I can't go to her and say, you know what, I understand how you might have been feeling or whatever. Like, but I can now in my own self have a better relationship with her, even though she's gone, because she's not here physical, but her spirit continues to live on. And I send love and light to that situation. You can send love and light to even past situations, which help you heal in the present, in the now. It's always about healing yourself, because once you heal whatever hurt is in you on a particular situation, you definitely won't have that type of experience. That type. I'm not saying you won't have any more Wicky Wacky experiences, because you will. But that particular type of experience, you may not have any more of those show up once it's healed. Hi, Kat. I was driving and couldn't say hey. So hey, great topic. Moon vibes, never saw it that way. The best they could do. Yes, sometimes it's just the best a person can do, and that's it. That's all they can do. That's it. And so once you accept that and you allow yourself to feel what you're feeling too. Like, listen, I'm not saying negate what you're feeling. Feel your feelings, because they're there for a reason. They're there to help you. They're there to help heal you. People are still going to piss you off. People are still going to make you angry. But sometimes when you look at it and you can say, well, that's the best they could do. And sometimes even when I say that that's the best they can do, depending on the egregious behavior, what it was, it takes some of the sting out of it. And then I can, do my work. And it may come up again, and I keep saying, and I may have to repeat to myself several times, well, that's the best they can do. That's the best that they can do. Being who they are. Being in the consciousness that they are. And I'm not going to allow you to drag me down to a lower vibe. I'm just not. And in that, just in that little tweak is a little bit of acceptance of who that person is right now, who they're being. Because they can switch up. They can show you somebody different. That's possible. That does happen on occasion. Sometimes, you doing your own work, now that energy emanates to another person, and they can switch up and they can, go, oh my God, I was just not nice to Sydney. I was such a, biatch to Sydney or whomever. And it can change and it can switch, but I don't wait for it to change or switch. I don't wait for somebody else to get it. I just do my work on myself. Katrina says it's really important to be honest about your own feelings, or you just keep having the experiences with different people triggering the same point. Absolutely. In you. Absolutely. That's true. So it's if you look at the anger that you're feeling and not stuff the anger that you're feeling, like just get comfortable with it sometimes. Like, sit with it for 24 hours, 48 hours, however long you need to sit with it. Don't stay there. Sit with it and ask it. Literally ask it. Write it down. Ask the questions like Linda wrote in the chat. Why am I reacting this way? Why am I acting this way? Enacting a way that you've acted before. That's what reacting means to me, is I'm acting in the same way I acted before. Why am I reacting this way? Like, what about this have I not healed in my own experience? Because what you will find is that your anger is telling you something. It's trying to give you a message. And I don't, like Linda said, I don't like the gurus that tell you not to be angry, because all you are doing is stuffing your emotions, and people are trying to make you feel bad about being angry. Be angry. Get in your angry feelings. Go to your angry place. Get all up in there. But figure it out. Figure out why you're feeling that way. And the other question again is, what stuff or what is being triggered in me? What right now is being triggered in me? And maybe you can't get to it right then, but if you keep those questions around, someplace where you can find it, if you get angry a lot about a lot of things, you may want to write these questions down in places where you can find them. You may want to post them up on your wall or in the bathroom. Like if you're getting angry a lot in your experience. It feels good. Barb says, it feels good to catch myself so much sooner now. I can even laugh at myself. Yeah, that's true. There's some things that I can catch like now I can catch them right in the moment. But there's some things that, have been simmering and I haven't looked at it. And then somebody will come along, that's at a lower vibe and boom, hit me in such a way. And that's what I wanted. That's what I was saying, here on YouTube. I was saying before that I'm looking at a lot of content and there's so many people who are angry with each other. And it's really, it's amazing to me how once a content creator opens up, that's why I put that in the chat, like in the title, I'm so angry. And why are these people bringing me down to a lower vibe? And you saw people coming in, right? Quick, fast. More than we usually have right at the beginning of the show. Because a lot of times people want to know, what's going on now? What happened? What's happening? And that tends to be more salacious, right? More interesting than if I put in the title, how to heal yourself from anger. And when we're angry and we're not doing the work and we're not looking within or trying to figure out why we're angry, and we just call everybody and tell them, everybody tell the same story over and over and over again to everybody that will hear it. Your energy is now being transferred and it's contagious to many other people who don't even realize, they don't even know about the work or vibrations, and they just all of a sudden feel angry. Now that may be something that happens to you too. You're catching somebody else's anger. So sometimes you may want to check and see if some of that anger is not even yours, might not even be yours. You just picked it up from somebody else who was ticked off, and they gave you, you picked up their vibe. And it doesn't even belong to you. Linda said, isn't that the truth, Barb? Yes, catching your feelings and catching, yourself in the moment and having the ability to shift and change it. That's what's so cool is having the ability. Now we all have, listen, you all have the ability to catch yourself in the moment and look at it and figure out what it is. So you want to write down, am I accepting the person who they are right now? That's a question you want to ask yourself. Why am I reacting this way, which we talked about? What stuff are they triggering in me? You know, could it be something from the past that you've never worked on before? And then, you know, you want to look up past stuff and see if it's bringing up something that you haven't healed yet. And that's why getting angry is good, because it's showing you something inside of you that maybe you didn't heal yet. Not what they did is good, because what they did, you know, was not cool. You didn't like it, and it didn't feel good. But now that it's happened, what in that can you heal inside of yourself? What is it that's triggering you? Linda says, Miss Nia says, I've completely stopped communicating with them. I realize less is best in that particular situation. Anyone else, I can have a great conversation, even if we don't agree. Absolutely. Just because you've healed that and you've forgiven them or you've accepted who they are, that doesn't mean you're going to put yourself back in harm's way. Right? Yeah, look, I still keep my distance, yo. So you go over there, do your thing. I'm going to be over here doing my thing. Linda said, Miss Nia, yep, sometimes that is best. You decide who you want to communicate with in your life. Exactly, Linda. Exactly. Amira said, I just tried to send a message, but the computer would not send it. Strange. Maybe I'm not to bring it up again. Oh, I don't know. You know, it may have been too long, so sometimes you have to break it up. If the YouTube channel will only allow you to type up to 200 characters, and if you type more than that, it won't send it. So you have to split it up and then, you know, send part of it. That's what happened to Blashinia 69 Tarot when she came in last week. Remember, she was saying, YouTube won't let me be great. That happened. So if it was too much, you just have to cut it off. That has happened many times with me, especially when I worked in corporate America. Exactly. Me too. Exactly. Especially in corporate America, where you have, you know, different energies and different vibrations of different people all day long. So ask yourself those questions. And then a really great question that I love is, what am I learning here? What am I learning here about me? Take the other person out of it. Put them, you know, they're no longer in your experience, even though you're really still ticked off right now, and they have gone on and moved on and, you know, doing whatever they're doing, and you are still angry. What am I learning here? What can I learn from this? Especially if you're feeling angry a lot, and if it's quick for you to get from 0 to 100, these questions you will find useful. And some of the things that I do is treat myself better. Be nurturing to myself. Be loving to myself. Be kind to myself. Number one, I do not beat myself up for being angry at all. Not anymore. I used to. Like, when I first started doing this spiritual work, I used to beat myself up for being angry. Because, you know, there's so many spiritual gurus that tell you that anger is terrible and it's a bad thing. I mean, even Christianity tells you be slow to anger, right? Be slow to anger. Don't be angry. That's lie. That is a lie. And it's a lie that is not helping the collective. Because if you are not angry and you're not understanding what's going on with inside of you, then you just pushing those things down, and it then becomes resentment, and it becomes all kinds of wicky wacky, and it comes out in your body, and it usually turns into disease. So I'm not of that ilk about don't get angry. I get angry, I vent, I let it out, I write it out. Sometimes I write it in a journal. Sometimes I'll speak it into a recorder. You know what she did? You know what she said? I do my best not to spew it on others because it's contagious. And so if I haven't gotten to the point where I can discuss it without having some emotional attachment to it, then I haven't healed it. So if you can speak about the experience without getting angry all over again, then you know you've already healed it. But if you speak about the experience and you're still getting angry and it happened 7 years ago, you may want to do some work because that's an area that you haven't healed yet. Moon Vibe says, I have Crohn's disease, and ever since I found the spiritual meaning of how it came, I've let it all out. Crohn's, for years, I kept it in. Wow. Wow. So there is something that is indicative spiritually. Were you looking at, what's her name? Louise Hay? You Can Heal Your Life. I think that's the name of the book. She has a long list of whatever is ailing you or whatever disease is ailing you and what you're mentally doing. Like she would have the mental counterpart to it. And that helped me a lot, especially when I would have back issues. And I would look at it and go, oh, yeah, well, I'm definitely not feeling supported. No wonder why my back hurts. So I'm glad you're not keeping it in. I'm glad you're letting it out. And you may want to say, I had Crohn's disease. Just a thing. I try to talk in past tense about stuff that I want to have healed, or that it's, that's just something you may want to rephrase, because when you claim something, it kind of stays with you. Just something. You may still have it, but it's helpful, because I will say I had the stuff that I had going on with the back. No, I just Googled it, and it said, as young empaths, we are prone to hold things in until it makes us sick. True, I had Crohn's. I am on meds now, and I am scared to stop right now. So don't stop your meds. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you move through, transition with your healing. I always say, take your meds until you get to a space where mentally in your mind and in your thoughts and in your feeling that this helps you get to where you need to be in your physical being. So never stop taking your medication, ever. Not without, if you're under doctor's care and the medication is assisting you, keep taking that, yo. Keep doing that. And then as you do more of your spiritual work and your energy work and your growth, you may find that you don't need them, or you may find that you still do. That's okay. But don't stop taking that. Love yourself and your emotions, because all of your emotions are there for a reason. God gave us emotions, right? If we didn't have these emotions, some of us wouldn't even know how to love each other, right? So there's always a opposite component to a negative emotion, right? So the opposite of the emotion is a positive feeling, right? So if you're in anger, you may want to just have peace. And how do you get to peace? You get to peace by loving your emotions, number one, sending them love, sending them and thank you for being here, thank you for showing up, Thank you for the message that you have for me. And then I would definitely talk about it, but I would talk about it to someone who's not going to go in the anger with me, right? Who will definitely listen. Maybe they'll feel the anger too because they feel empathy and they're an empath, but they won't perpetuate the anger with me. They won't keep me with the spiral, So, Sydney, what did you do today? Did you cuss her out? That so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. That's what I mean. So if you're going to talk about it with someone, at least find someone who can help you figure out how you can allow yourself to feel the emotion and is kind to you and they're loving to you and they're nurturing to you. And they're they're helping you figure out a way that you can understand what the lesson is or what the trigger is trying to teach you. And if you can't do that, definitely journal it. Definitely journal it. But I think journaling is a really great tool and is very helpful, especially when you got Wicky Wacky going on. And you can just put it all in there. You can cuss people out. You can be angry, but it's best to get it out. It's best to get it out. Punch a pillow, yell, scream, but don't stuff it. Barb says, I'm on some meds too, very little, but I'm not ready to stop. Agree with that, Sydney. Yeah. Take your meds. Do what you have to do to get the relief. A lot of people say, oh, well, meds are this and meds are that. Yeah, I know they are. Most of them are placebos for the most part, but it's our connection. It's our mind-body connection. So if our mind-body connection and we take something and it makes us feel better, do that. Do that. Until you can get to a place where maybe the medication is less, and then, you get off. Or maybe you never get off. I don't know. But the point is, it's giving you relief. That's the whole point. Katrina says, emotions are what moves us. Yes. And Nia says, sending healing vibes to all my sisters. Thank you, Nia. And sending healing vibes to all of you, too. All of us. Moon vibes, everybody. Katrina says, so good, Miss Sydney, so true. Right, cousin. Moon Vibe says, I'm the person that's going to get angry with you so you can get it out. But I know you're wrong, so after I'm going to tell you. But not wrong all the way, but another viewpoint. Okay, that's a great viewpoint. And Bob says, I was so angry and yelled and cried when I fell Tuesday, universe, why? But I soon figured it out, and as bad as it was, it could have been so much worse. I told the universe, that's okay, I got it, enough. I hear you, Bob. I hear you. I hear you. There's always something. There's always a message. Nia says, I was thinking about starting a journal just because. Start a journal. That's a great way for you to be able to vent. And I'm going to tell you something. What happens with journaling is not only is it a great place to vent, but then when you go back, you look at it, you have a book that will help people move through whatever they're moving through. And then you can, or a blog, and you can blog those things. It's content. It's great. It's great content that you can share with others, how you move through whatever it was that you moved through. Amira said, I wrote a letter to say what I had to say to a coworker. Hi, Jackie. Good afternoon. Sending you love and light too. Bob says, I even take it high blood pressure, telling myself it's time for my placebo. I hear you, Bob. Woo! Jesus on my mind. It's time to take my placebo. Woo! Okay. Let me calm myself down. Amira said it helped writing it out so I would not get emotional. Absolutely. It absolutely does do that. It absolutely does do that. And that's why writing is so great. Because if you don't have an outlet for it, you know, that's the best place to put it, is to get in there and write that stuff down and just say, you know what? And get it out. Amira said I helped writing it out so I would not get emotional. The next day he apologized. Oh, that's cool. That's a true awakening, Barb. Moon Vibe said, make sure to hit the like button. Yes, make sure to hit the like button. Thumbs up. Nia said, I dealt with a fib, which is, I dealt with AFib, which is heart being off rhythm. And I was like that for like 3 days, went to the emergency room and they were looking at me like, you should be having a stroke. But I was completely normal, just looking at them all. These doctors and nurses came in looking at me like, wow, you walked in here. So you definitely can self-heal. And I dealt with that over 10 years, no meds or anything. Yeah. Once I think a lot of times, well, I'm glad that, first of all, I'm glad that you're okay, my cousin, because I didn't know that. So sending healing vibes to you. You keep it blossoming. Sharon had a similar experience with congestive heart failure and has shifted and changed. She was on so many medications, and this happened this year. She was on so many medications, and since she's been doing the work and spiritual work and taking care of her emotions, she even looks 100 times better, lost weight, she's eating better, she's healthier. And the doctor was like, we don't even see. She switched to different doctors and they don't even see what the doctor was saying that she was experiencing. So I feel that once we heal, when we heal our emotions, our body tends to follow suit. Not in all areas, but for the most part, And as you heal your emotions, you will start finding that certain aches and pains will go away. You won't even realize that you don't have the aches and pains anymore. But it's mind, body, spirit. That's this work. Mind, body, spirit. Right? So, or spirit, body, mind, however you want to put it, all three combined, you need to address the mental, the spiritual, so that it doesn't settle in the body. And that's why one of the questions were, where am I feeling this? Where in my body am I feeling this? Because sometimes you'll get a headache. Sometimes your shoulders will ache. You might feel it in your chest. You might feel it in your solar plexus. You might feel it in your legs. You might feel it in your feet. There is a place that this emotion has settled in. Whatever it is, it could be anger, but it could be something else. If you're feeling resentment, if you're feeling upset, you're feeling fear, whatever, where is it settling? Where do you feel that? Start sending light in your imagination. Start sending light and love to that particular spot. That it also helps to heal whatever you've got going on within you. I'm not saying don't have anger. Absolutely not. Anger is a great emotion. It helps you to recognize the triggers, what's going on, so that it's coming up for a reason. It's coming up for a reason. So trust that it's coming up for a reason. And then look at what the reason is and what you are feeling about a certain situation. Because it may be something that has to do with past issues. 9 times out of 10 it does. If it's a new thing that you never felt before, well, look at it too. What's going on? Why are you so ticked off about this? And again, don't try to talk yourself out of it. Don't try to talk yourself out of it, because there's a message in there for you. Maybe it's that you have to move away from that person, in order for you to understand what's going on. Maybe you have to back up from them for a minute. Maybe it is that you actually do have to write them a letter and let them know, hey, you know what? You did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I'm not feeling that. Take some moment to calm yourself so you don't write it, so angrily in your vibration of anger. That's why journaling is a great thing. Because you can get your point across without being in an angry vibration. You absolutely can. And you can be confident and loving and stern. We're not doing this today. Because love is not, oh, well, let's all have a kumbaya moment all the time. Love is also, even though it's nurturing, it's also confidence. It's also standing up for yourself and loving yourself and understanding what your power is. Oh, we're not doing that today. Okay? You're not going to walk over me today. You can say it in a very loving, kind way. Just saying. All right. Nia said, yes, I was on meds for like a year at that time, blood thinners and iron, but after that 1 year, I was done with that. Is that when you got the blood clot on your leg? You had to keep your leg up? Sharon looks great, Nia says. Yeah, nobody definitely goes with what's going on in the inside. And I stay pretty late. I'd like to be happy. I love to smile. I love to talk. I love to make people feel happy. Cool. I talk, text, and iPhone. No, not gonna happen today, tomorrow, or forever, or ever. So you do want to look at your emotions. They're key. And we went over 17 minutes. Been here for 17 minutes longer than usual. So walking over me as a sign you have a death wish is a sign you have a death wish. I love your energy room vibes. Thank you very much for being here today. But again, you do want to allow, love is confident, it is, stern, it is nurturing, it is not, sometimes it's not always peace. Well, people may not see it as peaceful, but sometimes love has to stand up for itself. Okay, so what I want to do is, again, thank you all for being here and remind you that on Wednesday night, we'll be here at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And if there's anything else you wanted to share, a question you want to have before we roll up out of here about anger and how you can move through it. But I do want to just also mention that vibrations are contagious. So imagine, be mindful that some of the feelings you may be feeling may not be your own. You may have picked them up from somebody else. So that's why looking at why you feel that way is a good technique. It's a good way to examine if it's yours, if it's not, if it's somebody else's that you picked up because, they were angry. And, if you came into this chat today and I was really still angry, you would always be picking up my vibe. And there's a trigger in you that would resonate with why I was so angry. And then, it spreads like wildfire. So be mindful of the energy if it's yours and if it's somebody else's. And there was something else I wanted to I didn't write it down. I just thought about it while I was thinking and while I was talking because it was something that we had discussed before, but maybe I'll remember it and I can put it in the video on Wednesday night. So Wednesday night at 8 p.m. we'll be here. And we are back to the I Am Discourses. We are in chapter 19. And we'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern. And that is 5 p.m. Pacific. Definitely send it back to the sender. And we'll be here discussing the I Am Discourses. So if you don't have the book, the link is in the description below. You can click the link and purchase it. I am an affiliate of Amazon, and I do get a little bit of a stipend if you do purchase it through me. If not, you can purchase it wherever you want to purchase it from. But the I Am Discourses is down there. The Resurrection is down there. If you haven't subscribed to the Indigo Room and you're new, please hit that subscription button. There's also a subscription link down in the comments, down in the description below. And all of the books that we discuss and we recommend are down there. You can visit us on the indigoroom.org website. So if you are traveling and you can't log in, or somebody you know would like to join us or watch us live, let them go to the indigoroom.org site, and the video is always going to be there, the live video, the live content for that day. I leave it up there until the next live video pops up. So I only leave 2 up there a week. Susan is our new guest blogger on the Indigo Room website. Her blog is not ready yet, so it's percolating. She'll be up sometime in a few days. She'll be getting it done and putting that up there. So do check back periodically for new content on the Indigo Room. I finished the Discord place, the Indigo Room Discord site server, finally. And so we'll be able to all connect there as well. I'm setting that up so that you all have a place to chat with each other, share information, share content, sort of like a group, but you can do live videos, you can do live streams right on the server. So I just have to get the link, and if you want to be a part of that community, send me an email at the indigoroom2@gmail.com, and you'll be able to join us in the Discord, on the Discord, Indigo Room for Discord. Also, if you would like to, you're in need of one-on-one coaching, I am doing that now. And we also have the group coaching. Those old groups that started on the 12th and the 14th are closed. I am going to be putting up some new group coaching information. But if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, you can email me at the indigoroom2@gmail.com, and I can talk you through that. You get 30 minutes free consultation to see if you connect with me. You might not, but you may need coaching, and you may need it from somebody else. I find that we all could use coaching. It's a great place to have someone. It's a great way to have someone who you can lean on, and when you have those wicky wacky feelings, you can drop them in their email box. And they're getting paid to help you, cipher through that. So if you don't have someone that you want to talk to, that you can talk to about stuff that you got going on, and you're new to this spirituality work, you need a coach. If you feel like you need a coach, you feel like you need some help, you can email me at the indigoroom2@gmail.com, and we can, discuss that. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that good stuff, all the social media platforms, by clicking on the banner up at the top. The videos will be here, and my face will be here if you want to subscribe. So I hope you have a great week. Thumbs up the video. And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Linda. Thank you all for your contribution today. And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye. Love you. Oh, remember who you are. Remember that you are source energy right here in a physical body. And remember, you can be, do, and have anything that you desire. And it's not being extraordinary that makes you unique. It is your uniqueness that makes you extraordinary. I love you. Bye. And I'm not angry today. But I'm not angry today. But I could be tomorrow. Bye. Have a great week.